And I hope more people have that epiphany. Like, all right, I'm going to grind. I'm going to work, for a decade or 8 years or 12 years or whatever. And then I'm going to find out at 41 or 53 or 61. Even if you're in your 60s and you earn financial freedom, you still, in today's day and age, you probably still have 20 years of relatively good health
Yep.
to go have a positive impact on the world. Leave the world in a better place than you found it. Alrighty, folks, we're going to talk about why yes, you need to retire early. And we're going to have this conversation about a special number. And that special number is 19. Dion, tell us why 19 is such a special number.
Well, actually, I kind of want to do this video for Matt, but it also applies to you and me, Zuber.
Okay.
19 is the reason why you should retire early. And if you've never thought of this, I hope that you think about it every time you see your kids or your parents going forward.
Okay.
In our life, generally, there are some people like me who move out when we're 15, but most of us get 18 years. So I have 3 kids. We have 18 years. As a single parent, I fought for custody more than once, but I kept custody of my kids and I raised them for 18 years. They turn 18, and I do like almost every other parent in the United States should do. Happy 18th birthday. Here's your restraining order. But now we take the rest of our lives. And the goal, hopefully, is their lives are much longer than mine, right? So for the rest of my life, I've had 18 years with my kids. The rest of my life, I'm going to get maybe game night, maybe holidays, maybe a day trip somewhere. If I'm super lucky, we'll be able to take a vacation together. But if you aggregate the amount of time that we're going to spend together, my kids and me, after they turned 18, so Matt, your kids, Zuber, your daughter, right? You had the 18 years. Once they move out, you're going to get 1 more year. If you aggregate all that time together, so the totality of time you're going to spend with your family, the reason for living, is 19 years. If you're like me, both of my parents passed away, one about 10 years ago, one about 15 years ago. So from the time I turned 18 until then, if I looked at all the time I got to see them with deployments and moving to another state and them having their busy lives too, I'd be lucky to think I got a year with them in the last 20, 30 years since I turned 18. A long time since I turned 18. Had my mom not worked until she was in her 60s and my dad not worked until the literal day he died on a job site at 75, or had I been able to retire early, that last year, that 1 year after 18 with my kids, I'm going to turn that into 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
My kids come out, we ride the ferries over to Seattle, walk the waterfront. I'm planning a cruise where I take all the kids on the cruise. I want to do these things where I can spend more time because I'm not trapped at a job. Now they are. So my schedule is going to be like Matt's. What are you doing today? We can't go to lunch? Cool. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to come and sit at work with you and watch what you do today.
Yes.
You can't do that if you're trapped in a job.
Nope.
Your parents, if they're retired and you work until you're 65, what are the odds, statistical odds, that they're even still around to amplify the amount of time you get with them? So if your family matters to you. Now, I have the, because I'm making this video too, I have the statistics down on how many people are estranged from your family. Maybe this doesn't matter. How many people don't have siblings? Maybe it doesn't matter. How many people don't have kids? Maybe it doesn't matter. But most of us have parents, the majority of us. We also have siblings we want to spend time with. This, to me, it's like that the amount of life in your years is more important than the number of years in your life. The number of years you can spend with your family. If you can just turn 19 into 20, you've doubled the amount of time you're going to spend with your kids or your parents as adults.
Yeah. So this is why you're good at what you do, because you have to create that why. And we all know that the season, as I'm calling it now, of the grind of working, of climbing this hill and earning financial freedom isn't easy. But most people, I would agree with you, love their family, would love to double the time with their kids and parents. And assuming, again, that's true, that it is most people, that's a great why. Right? If the ability to not only arrange schedules, but pay for potentially everyone to go on a cruise, that's awesome. as an example. Taking vacations, awesome. I could tell you that's something Olivia and I have done almost every year, certainly for the last 5 years, is we've done trips with Teresa, and we've even paid for her boyfriend to come along. So and we stay in the same Airbnb, and we just get to see them interact, and it's awesome. So, folks, it's worth it. If your family, like if you have kids at home and they're young, it's you got 10 years ahead of you. Do the work, do the grind, have the sacrifice, live below your means, stack discretionary income, buy assets to cash flow. Inflation's a feature, not a bug. All those things we talk about. Hopefully this why resonates. Matt, what'd you think of that why?
1,000%. I'm so glad the turds I worked for didn't like me. It was awesome. They can suck it. I was awesome at what I did. I was elite, just like you, Mike. So the problem that Mike, you and I had because we're broken, right? Once doing, $100 million product from zero, once, awesome, right? Twice, all right. I like myself. I'm a pretty sharp guy. Wonder if I can do it again. Yeah, I think I can do it again. Let's do it again. And then the third time you're like, okay, now I know I can do this. Now I know. It's not I think, it's now I know I can do it again, just like an investor with their third house, right?
Yep.
I know I can do it again. Do I want to do it again? And for me, that was where I was at. I literally had that conversation with Ashley and I said, I know I can blow the product up. No doubt in my mind. No, I can. I've done it twice.
Yeah.
So it's not lucky anymore.
Yeah.
Do I want to? And that was the conversation I had with myself because I said, I've got a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 5-month-old.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old goes to 5 days a week next year. My 3-year-old is in school, or my 2-year-old will be 3 and she'll be in school next year for 3 days a week. And my 5-month-old, she'll be home. However, if I did it again, Mike, you know that job takes between 2 and 3 years.
Oh,
It
yeah.
usually takes about 3 years to get it running like that. But it's 3 years. It's 3 years of smash your forehead against the wall, insane 100-hour weeks everywhere in the world. That's what that's going to take. Building the infrastructure, getting all of the different pieces moving from product development to services, to sales, to support staff. It is a killer job. Very few people can do it. And that's why we get paid so well to do it. But very few people can do it, but we get paid really well to do so. However, you are selling 3 years of your life away. And it's not 3 40-hour work weeks. It's not 3 years of 40-hour work weeks. It's 190 to 100-hour work weeks. It's 6 days a week.
You're
and even
always
on the
on.
7th day,
Yeah.
you're all exactly. Even on the 7th day, you might not be on a plane, but you're still on and you still have things in your back of your mind that have to get done because you're like, I got to hit the ground running. And so my choice was do that for 3 more years and then show up and have my son be 9, my daughter be 7, my other daughter be 5, them all be in school 5 days a week, and my next one going into 3 days a week of school. And I just missed it.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was very easy math. It didn't matter if they doubled my salary. It didn't matter if they gave me a piece of the company again. Didn't matter. I was just like, I'm not going to put 3 years in like that because the other thing it was too, and a lot of people miss this, it wasn't just about my kids. It's about my wife. It's about my wife. I want us to spend time together. So I purposely make sure that we go out on a good date night, every few weeks, just us.
Yeah.
And then some special event within every, 6 weeks. That stuff is of critical importance. And, I think Dion's statement of, you're going to be around in 5 years, should start investing like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't just depend on buildings. It's your family. It's your friends. Invest in them. We all talk outside of YouTube. We all talk outside of YouTube. We spend time with each other. Wouldn't trade that for anything. Wouldn't trade it for anything. You guys have done what I've done. I've done some of what you've done, and having that system where we can have that conversation is really important.
Yeah. One of the things that, I mean, if you go back to selling, right, Matt, what you and I did, you can sell vitamins or you can sell aspirin. And if you guys don't know, it's a lot easier to sell aspirin, right? It just is. One of the things that at least I struggle with, and I'm sure you guys do as well, is trying to inspire people to look themselves in the mirror and sign up to do hard things, right? This do the work hat that I wear all the time is because it just is what it is, right? If you're going to become elite at something, you got to become unbalanced. You got to become focused. You just got to go.
Yeah.
And I'm personally always struggling with the stories about how can the why be big enough that you keep going? And this has bothered me for years. I wrote my second book because the why, right? My second book, which Dion narrated, 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires, I went out and collected 15 different stories because yes, one rental at a time is amazing. We've all done it at some level, but it's not the only story,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was trying to document other stories with that second book, but I think this is a great why. I think it will land with a lot of people. And again, you're right. How would you like to be in a position that after the season of growing, you can double the time with the people you love? I think it's genius, Dion.
And so that's the 19 because it's that year above 18. And I want people to think of the last couple of years. And some of the, I mean, it's sarcastic when they come at me with, I'm super mean to Matt. I'm super mean to Mike. Because as somebody who was working on financial freedom, found one rental at a time, developed those strategies to make work optional, and then retire. So I retired in 2022. So since then, I have sent images to Matt every day of the Pink Panther sleeping.
That came quite often.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people would say, well, why would you be so mean to somebody when they're working and they enjoy their job? I'm like, no, you're missing out the point here. So yes, if we think of the number 19 and we reach financial freedom, we make work optional, you double the amount of time with your adult kids. The first video that we did was tripling the amount of life in your years. Matt has tripled the amount of life in his kids' years for those first 18. You talked about it in the other video, taking kids to school. And let's look at the other benefit of most parents spend time with their kids when they're in those 5 exhausted hours.
Yeah.
Have you been exhausted in the last 6 weeks?
Only from my kids.
Only from your kids, right? There you go.
Sorry.
I literally, the turn of, oh, you're exhausting right now. Exhausting right now.
Yeah, but you bounce back quick. You bounce back.
Well,
quick.
yeah, I was just like, and literally I follow up with, but man, I love it. Man, it's awesome. It's so good. I waited late in life to have kids. I was a 40-year-old dad. That was when I had my first kid. I was 40. So I've got,
What was on the other side of that? 19.
Yeah. It was, and it's, so it's diapers and it's crying babies and it's all of this other stuff. But it was like, again, I think we make it a lot about the kids, but it's really about spouses. For my wife, me signing up for 3 years wasn't just me missing my kids and my wife. It was my wife missing more of my help with the kids.
Yeah. It's funny. I hadn't thought about this in a long time. I've communicated many times that I was a weekend away from getting a job. I paid part of the company, basically take yet another widget from, very little to a lot. And I almost said yes. And I remember sitting at the table, feeling like a loser because I was seriously considering getting a job. But also, it's like there's just so much else out there. And I wanted to see what else was there. And I don't mean stuff. People follow me, it's not about stuff. I'm not trying to flash. It's just like, what else can I take this broken human being who's maniacal and focused and can do these couple of things? What else can we do? And I hope more people have that epiphany. Like, all right, I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna work, for a decade or 8 years or 12 years or whatever. And then I'm gonna find out at 41 or 53 or 61. Even if you're in your 60s and you earn financial freedom, you still, in today's day and age, you probably still have 20 years of relatively good health.
Yep.
To go have a positive impact on the world. Leave the world in a better place than you found it.
Yep.
I heard Kobe Bryant say that about basketball one time. He was always hoping to leave basketball in a better position before he retired. I think we should all do that as human beings. What do you think, Dion?
So often I don't go very cerebral, but I'm going to attempt it here.
Uh-oh.
I am a firm believer in Locard's law. Locard's law stating that no two objects can encounter each other without leaving a trace of themselves behind. And this goes down to the way we live our lives as well. If you are working a high stress job, trying to spend time with your friends or family or your kids, right? Your friends and family and your kids, and you have this mountain of stress on your shoulders that you don't even know exists because you say things like, I love my job. And then someone cuts you off in traffic. You might not be a road rage person, but there's some yelling and screaming and name calling, and you maybe try to cut them back off. Versus if you are relaxed, you've reached financial freedom, you're pursuing your actual passion, which can be anything. It can be being lazy like me, which my low cards effect is going to be, I'm trying to make more people lazy like me. But if you are more relaxed and you're on your way to go and see your friend and watch him in court, and somebody cuts you off in traffic, something that simple, your reaction is probably not a tenth of what it was when you were thinking, I have 5 minutes to get where I'm going. My kid's waiting on me. I've got to get back to this, whatever the work thing was. Imagine how good the world is if people have jobs they want instead of jobs they have to have. And then their positive atmospheric personalities are impacted by Locard's law. And we can actually spread that in everything that we do. That's that whole pay it forward thing. That doesn't happen when you're stressed out.
Agreed. We're going to have another conversation. We're going to tease it as the Count of Monte Cristo. We'll leave that for video number 3. But before we do, Matt, where can people find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Sundays. We're hanging out.
There you go. And Dion, find you?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom.
Thank you very much.